What is a goal? Goals are desired results or achievements that someone plans or commits to. They provide direction and motivation. But what's the problem with that? Firstly, motivation is a feeling. As soon as it leaves, so does the desire to do what it takes to actually reach the goal. Secondly, the goal is really only a direction. It's a mental masturbation tool with a "that sounds cool" attached to it. The problem isn't goal setting. The real problem is the lies that you continue to tell yourself. The foundation of real change comes from keeping the promises that you do make to yourself. This video shows you that goals are the direction, but not the transformation. A goal says where you want to go, but a system determines whether you actually even leave the driveway. An identity decides if you even put the keys in the ignition. Most people never make it out of the driveway. Let's look at why. Forget your goals. Let's talk about systems and protocols. Your current protocol is perfect for the results that you're currently getting. This is where the change needs to start. This video is going to be about participation. There is a link below to download a worksheet, so go get it and let's get into it.
Yo, sorry to interrupt. I'm putting together the slides for our anti-goal setting workshop that we're running internally in WeHackHealth on Monday, the 5th of January at 10 a.m. Eastern. And I had a thought that I might open up a couple of external seats. So this is me inviting you to come and join us to see how we're running all of this in WeHackHealth, what it looks like, how we're going to implement it to make sure that everybody internally succeeds in 2026. So if you want to join us, the link is below. You can check it out there. If it's after the 5th of January, first of all, you need to stay more up to date with the content that we're putting out. And second of all, I still got you. You can comment workshop below and I'll send you the details. I'll send you the recording and the worksheets so that you can do it yourself to make sure that 2026 is successful. You're done setting goals. I'll either see you on the call or I'll see you in the comments. Back to the video.
Let's look at your last 7 days. Did you train when you said you would? Did you hit your nutrition targets? Did you sleep the hours that you claim to value? And did you act like the future you or the current you? Your last 7 days shows the reality of your future. Chaotic, inconsistent, and avoidant, all reinforcing your current identity and mapping out the trajectory of your future. Your last 7 days tell me more about your future than any written goal ever will, until now. I'm not here to harass you about it, I'm just here to give you the reality of what you're missing. You cannot outgoal your identity, you cannot outperform your standards, and you cannot outwork a broken system. But before we get to identity, we need to understand why you want to change it in the first place. That is the real reason. Strap in, because this is not going to be fun. We've looked at the 5 whys before, but today we're going to add a layer. Not just why you want it, but why it actually matters. Let's start with why. Why number 1, superficial. The second why, slightly closer to reality. Your why number 3 is the emotional layer. And why number 4 is identity. And the 5th why is the actual truth. The truth is, if your why doesn't make you feel uncomfortable, it's not the real reason why. Most people don't fail to change because the work is too hard. They fail because the consequences of staying the same aren't painful enough yet. Now that we have that, let's look at why it actually matters. What is the cost of inaction? The direct cost, the indirect cost, and the ultimate cost. The direct cost is your energy, your mood, your confidence, and your health. The indirect cost is settling for mediocrity, how you show up in work, relationships, your standards, and your potential. And the ultimate cost is your future identity, the person that you are becoming. The truth is, your habits are voting for the person you're becoming. And right now, you're probably becoming someone that you don't actually want to be. Let's look at who does it really impact. Ask yourself these questions. Let's look at who. Who does it directly impact? Who watches you break the promises that you make to yourself? What lessons does that teach them? Who gets the tired, distracted, and stressed version of you? What impact does that have on your relationship with them? And who's always watching? And what does that teach them? What example are you setting? And who has to adapt? The truth is, your lack of discipline is outsourcing the consequences to the people you care about. What happens if nothing changes? What does your body look like in a year? Your energy, your confidence, your resilience, your relationships, and your self-respect. How much harder will change be later? I heard this on a Chris Williamson podcast. The region beta paradox suggests that people stuck in comfortable, mediocre situations or just good enough would be better off if things were actually worse, because the discomfort will provide the activation energy, which is required to make necessary significant changes, the ones that you otherwise avoid, like leaving a bad job or a relationship, ultimately leading to greater growth and regret for not acting sooner. Now, the killer questions. What's the gap between the person that you want to be and the person you're currently being? How long have you lived with that gap? What has it cost you already? What will it cost you next year if nothing changes? How many times have you said, I'll start on Monday? And where else have you delayed change and paid the price? Once the discomfort of staying the same becomes heavier than discomfort of change, this is where real change starts. Let's talk about identity. I want to get really real with you for a second, because honestly, I think this is the main thing that's overlooked when it comes to goal setting. Addressing the gap between what you think, believe, or fantasize about versus the reality and the proof that supports it. Let's talk about the first identity that you have. Number one, the person you say you want to be. Truthfully, this is probably the most dangerous version of you. This is the polished, telling everybody the things that you're going to do version. I'm going to get in shape this year. I'm going to take my health more seriously. Even, I hate my job, I'm leaving. This identity requires zero action, just words. It's a future-based fantasy where you get to sound committed without actually being committed. It's aspirational, convenient, and untested. And here's the psychological trap. Announcing your goals gives your brain the same dopamine hit as actually taking action. NYU studies prove this. Your brain rewards you for talking instead of doing. The fantasy becomes enough and the action never arrives. This version of you only exists in your imagination and disappears when reality touches it. Your second identity is the person that you pretend you are. Your social mask. You know, doing the research instead of doing the work, reading productivity books instead of being productive, buying supplements to really take things seriously, or the famous, I know what to do, I just need to do it. You talk like you're on the journey, but you're still sat in the driveway. It's almost performative, relies on self-preservation, excuses, image, and honestly, ego. This version of you is a PR stunt. It's who you want others to believe you are, not who you actually are, which leads me to here. Number 3, the real you. The identity that is built from your behaviors, your sleep, training, nutrition, phone habits, emotional reaction, planning, follow through, your standards, your defaults, your stress, your alcohol, caffeine, dopamine choices, and your ability to keep the promises you make to yourself. This identity is non-negotiable because it's measurable. It's you in your current state. Your identity is not the stories you tell yourself, it's the patterns that you keep repeating when no one's watching. As an example, last week I had a conversation with Alan. He admitted that he didn't actually have imposter syndrome. He was an actual imposter. He used to tell people he was going to the gym but hadn't been there in months. He ticked the box in his head that he had been to the gym, but his membership not used. An easy trap to fall into. You start going to the gym and then you miss a day. You'll start on Monday. You don't go on Monday, and then before you know it, it's 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks down the line. But because you've told people you go to the gym, because your gym bag is sat at the door unused, and because you're still paying the membership, you tick the box, but you're not going. Only one of these versions of you is real, and only one matters. Now that we understand the identity that matters, think about it like this. Identity, standards, systems, behaviors, outcome, goals. Most people start at the end, writing goals from the perspective of the person that they currently are, and wonder why nothing sticks. The truth is, most people set goals without an identity shift, without building standards. They fantasize about the results while still living in the same systems that guarantee failure. They expect a new future while repeating old behaviors. And today, we're going to put a stop to this. Goals are the last step, not the first. Until you build an identity and a system capable of achieving them, they're just noise and will continue to reinforce the negative self-talk. So let's start with identity, not the current one, the person that you want to become. I use this reframe daily. Is this action in line with the person that you want to become? But you cannot answer that question until you have an understanding of who that person is in great detail. So this is the who, the person that you're becoming. Moving into standards. Standards to me are your non-negotiables. Literally, the things that you will not negotiate on, no matter what. This is a baseline, the minimal acceptable version of your actions. The floor that you can operate from, even on the worst day. Even when you're tired, stressed, busy, and unmotivated. One of my own standards is hydration. Making sure that I am hydrated. If everything else fails, I make sure I at least, at the very bare minimum, get enough water and I am hydrated throughout the day. Another one of mine is a consistent sleep and wake time. Now, as a human, Sometimes I deviate from the sleep time, but I always maintain the same wake time, no matter what. Standards do not depend on mood, feelings, perfect conditions, motivation, or convenience. Your standards are your identity in action. So we have the who, we have the what, now we need to look at how. All of this sounds great, but again, if you look at your current life, how the fuck do we make all of this happen? Because it sure as shit is not going to happen by accident. This is where systems win every time and discipline becomes design. With systems, we're talking about calendar blocks, prep meals, alarms, reminders, environment optimization, defined protocol for travel, heavy work days, stress, doing your future self favors like leaving your gym bag out ready, your supplements ready, filling up your car with fuel the night before and not leaving it to the next day. These are small things that remove friction to make sure repetition becomes effortless. Systems make standards inevitable. It's not about better goals, it's about better systems. Your behaviors are the output of your systems and standards. The things that you do day to day that become automatic because of the systems that you have in place. It's not just about behavior change, it's about a system that produces it. The outcomes are the byproduct of the behaviors, systems, and standards. Think of these as the stuff you get from the work that you've done. The receipts, like fat loss, more energy, more confidence, better focus, and an overall stability in your life. The cool thing, or potentially the unfortunate reality, depending on what way you look at it, these are earned from the work that you have done, but no one can take it away from you. After all of this, the final piece of the puzzle is the goal. You have arrived. Not only have you reached the goal, but you have become the person that you wanted to. You've got standards that you do not let slip, a system that works, that continues to work long term because of your behaviors. So even if you want a different outcome or you set a new goal, you have the foundations to do so. Identity, standards, systems, behaviors, outcomes, goals. If you nail these will stick with you for the rest of your life. For my next trick, I'm going to borrow an element from Stanford's Design Your Life program. For this, we have to zoom right out. Everything you do or don't do compounds over time. Both of those are a vote either towards or away from the desired future version of you. This bit should either motivate you or terrify you. The Odyssey reframe offers 3 futures. The life that you're currently building, the life that you say you want, and the life that you can have if you stop bullshitting yourself. Future 1. This is the version of your life that requires zero imagination. Just look back at your last 7 days and extend that 5 years, 10 years down the line. If nothing changes, how does that impact your mood, energy, confidence, focus, relationship, work? How many promises have you broken to yourself or those around you? How does this impact your self-respect, your relationships, or even the opportunities in your career? This future is the default, the one that you're already on track for. And if your systems don't change, your future won't either. Future 2. This is the version of your life that lives in your head, not in your habits. It's built on intentions and wishful thinking and fueled by emotional spikes. That January 1st energy or waiting to Monday for the 257th Monday in a row. This is the idealized version. You know, the lean, consistent, disciplined, high-performing future version of you. The problem here is nothing in your current system aligns with this outcome. It's a fantasy world that you've been living in for too long. Future 3. This is the life that becomes possible when your identity, standards, systems, behaviors, and outcomes align. It's grounded in identity-based behavior, non-negotiable standards, and frictionless systems. It requires consistency, honesty, and self-respect. And it requires you to be the person that you want to become even before you arrive at the goal. This fucking sheet's a mess. Hope your sheet doesn't look like my sheet. This future only happens with intention. I don't know if you've ever read Jocko's book, Extreme Ownership, but honestly, a book that categorically changed my life. There's an element in it, or the TLDR of this is every decision that you have ever made up until this point has led you to where you are right now, good or bad, which can be a hard pill to swallow. But for me, there was a freedom in that, knowing that every decision I make from this point on can build or allow me to have the future that I want. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. Shout out Jocko. Your future isn't random. It's the predictable result of your identity, standards, systems, and behaviors repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated over time. As always, I don't want this to become just another motivational video. One that you leave on a high, but don't actually follow through on. So let's make it actionable. Choose one of the 3 futures. Not telling you what to do, but I would recommend choosing the 3rd one. Define the identity required for that future in detail, like as much detail as you can give it. Choose 3 non-negotiable behaviors and execute them for 7 days. Review this weekly. This is not a one and done. Did I act like future me? Yes or no? What went well? What didn't work? What were the roadblocks? And how can I overcome them next time? Right now you have a choice. You can finish this video and like, follow and subscribe, but keep being who you are and keep getting the same result. Or get to work building the future you want with the systems that you have outlined. You're always choosing, you've just never owned the choices. When you're faced with a decision and you don't really know what to do, ask yourself, is this in line with the person that I want to become? If yes, cool. If no, second question is it worth it? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Both are okay. Just be okay with owning that decision in that moment. And look, here's the reality. Doing the worksheet is not doing the thing. Deciding on the identity is not doing the thing. Watching this video is not doing the thing. Telling your friends, family and co-workers is not doing the thing. Buying the supplements is not doing the thing. Your new gym membership is not doing the thing. Even reading Extreme Ownership is not doing the thing. The only thing that is doing the thing is actually doing the thing.